Guys, is your lawnmower being contrary, hard to start, acting like the battery ain't charged and stuff, and you know the battery's charged? Well, watch this video. I'm finna save you a lot of time, money, and frustration. Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Papaw's place. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel. If you'll reach down there and hit that subscribe button, don't cost you a thing. Hit that notification bell. You'll get notified every time I put a video up. Today, I got a John Deere LA 150 here with a 26 horsepower Briggs, and I'm going to see if I can adjust the valves on it. Now, in case you didn't know it, if you got a lawnmower and you go to crank it and it turns over but then it stops, it don't do nothing, but you know your battery is hot and stuff, a lot of times it's nothing but you just need your valves adjusted. So this one here has done got to where when you turn the key on to crank it, sometimes it'll turn over one time and it's like the motor a lock and the battery is hot. I have it on a battery charger all night, so I know the battery's good and hot. So I think it needs the valves adjusted on it. So I'm going to remove the hood, pull the spark plugs out. We're going to take the valve covers off and see if we can get this done. So we might well remove the spark plugs first. And as you would know, that's the wrong spark plug wrench. But the second try was the right size, and I would tell y'all what size that is. Let me put my glasses on. But just cause that's what size is in this one, you can still have a LA 150 and be a different spark plug brand and be a different size. So this ain't really gonna tell you nothing, but that's a 5/8. Oh boy, them pretty tight. I don't think these spark plugs has ever been removed. But they still look like brand new because it's old. Even though this lawnmower's 15, 18 years old, the joker ain't got 100-something hours on it. It'd been sitting up in the shed, sitting on flats. Tires was dry rotted. Armadillos done dug a hole under it, and the deck was just sitting halfway in the dirt, piled up all over it. Well, I had to get one of them big old jugs of slime and put in the tires. I think I put a tube in one of them in order to stop them from leaking. Changed the oil and stuff in it, and it's running good. Now what I'm doing with this lawnmower is making a spray rig out of it. So I welded me a hitch right down there, like a 2-inch receiver hitch. I don't know if y'all can see, but I've welded some bracing bars down. And that's my 15-gallon sprayer. So that's what I'm fixing this lawnmower up. It's just for my spraying lawnmower. I spray a lot of farm equipment yards around their equipment and stuff. It's where I be out there. I used this one the other day. I think it took me about 3 hours just riding around. I think I went through about 6 15-gallon tanks just spraying around equipment. Well, that's hard to do on that zero turn and hold your spray wand and try to drive with one hand with them handles. So I fixed this up and I liked it, but now I'm finna adjust the valves and see if I can help it out a little more. We'll take the hood off here. It just lifts off out of the way. I'm gonna remove the spark plug on the other side. It looks just like the one y'all just seen. And it looks like new even though it's 15 years old. So next up, I'm gonna take my handy dandy little zapper electric wrench here, and this is a 10mm. Zap out these 4 bolts. Now I ain't got no new gasket for this, but I do have some liquid ultra black gasket maker. And the gasket looked real good. It come off. It ain't even got brittle. This lawnmower ain't been run long enough. It's just been sitting. I set all that up there. Now I'm gonna have to move it out of my way. Now I ain't no lawnmower mechanic, but I've done this several times. I'm gonna turn my motor over. Your bottom valve here is your exhaust valve. Your top one's your intake valve. It'll be the same thing on the other side. Again, your bottom valve is your exhaust valve. Your top valve is your intake. Now, if you're a real mechanic and ain't like me, it's going to tell you which one of these you get at top dead center. But I always turn them till they both in their loose mode. And I know I'm going to have a lawnmower mechanic see this and he's going to tell me this is wrong. But I have done it this way for years and never had an issue. If you want to make sure it's top dead center, take you something, pencil. This here is a piece of a zip tie. Stick it in your spark plug hole. And you can turn it. And you can feel when your piston goes down, it's going down on the exhaust. Coming back up on the exhaust. And starting down on the intake right there. I turn it, going down on the intake. Coming back up on the intake. Going back down on the exhaust if you keep turning. Back up on the exhaust. And you turn it over. I don't know how to explain this. I'm doing it by feel. You turn it over until a little past, until your compression release. You'll feel it when you're doing this. And they both loose. Now I'm going to get my filler gauge. And I'm going to check and see what they at. Yeah, them's pretty bad off. They are 0.010. I think that's called thousandths. We're going to adjust these down here to about the 0.005. That's what we're going to do. Now I need to get me a Allen wrench. These are the style with the lock nuts on them. Now I can't tell you what size this Allen wrench is because the sizes is wore off in there. I think that may be a 5mm. And the nuts are 13mm. We're going to loosen that off. Get our filler gauge and stick back in there. You want to turn that, but you don't want it where you can't. You just want it rubbing good. And we're going to set that on 0.005. Hold your Allen wrench and tighten your nut there, lock nut. And you ain't got to go crazy on doing that. Now we finna do the bottom one the same way. Put our Allen wrench in here. Break that lock nut loose. And we're going to put this one at 0.005. There's going to be people argue with me that that ain't correct, but every motor is different. And what I looked up, 0.005 falls within the tolerance on the exhaust and the intake. I'm going to check it again. Now, see, I'm gonna have to double do that. When I was tightening it up, it didn't stay in the same position. But if your lawnmower is having trouble cranking, and you know your battery's good, hot, 9 times out of 10, this is all wrong with it. There we go. We got that one. Good as that gasket looks, I don't even think I'm gonna put no gasket material on there. If it does leak, then I can always zap this back off and redo it. I think it's good. Guys, I'm gonna do the other side just like I just did that. Then we'll reinstall the spark plugs and see how she fires up. Alright guys, adjusted the valves. I know some's gonna disagree with me on the 5/1000ths of an inch on the exhaust and the intake, but every motor's different. So if you're gonna do this to your lawnmower, it's very easy. And if you're having a lawnmower that's hard to start, and you turn the key and it turns and it like locks up and don't crank, and you know your battery is hot, this is what you need to do. But you need to do your research on your engine and the model number on what to set them on. Twin cylinder overhead valve engines, a lot of them, you got a spec there that goes, and I'm just throwing this number out there, from 4/1000ths to 7/1000ths, or 5/1000ths to 8/1000ths. I'm using 5/1000ths because from my research that fell in within the specs on the exhaust and the intake. So I just make it simple and set them all the same. I set my spark plug gaps for this engine, put my plugs back in, and now we finna fire up and see how she does. I bet she's gonna spin over and do good. You see how fast that engine spins over? Now you gotta also, let me do a reminder here, you got to adjust your valves when the engine is cool. That's why this mower was sitting right where I parked it yesterday, and I done my valve adjustment right here. You can't run the engine and adjust your valves after it gets warm. But I hope that helps some of you out. You can do this. If I wasn't videoing in 15 minutes, I could adjust the valves on these engines. And I've always done it on all of my own mowers. And it will save your batteries. Your lawnmower will spin over and start easy. And you won't have to take this. If you took this to a lawnmower shop to get what I done in 15 minutes, you're going to pay a minimum of 1 hour service, which is $80 to $100 an hour. Plus, you don't know how long you're going to be without your lawnmower for them to get to it to do that during mowing season. So I hope this helps some of you out. If it did and you always find yourself coming back to Papaw's place, because my channel's a little bit about everything, and you ain't never subscribed, please reach down there and hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you a thing. Set that notification bell to where every time I got new videos up, it'll pop up a reminder there's a new video from Papaw's place you can watch. And please, if you're watching videos, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm on my YouTube channel, which in return, YouTube puts my videos out there so more people can come across them to view my videos. And that's the best way you can help me. But guys, I got my little spray rig all set up here. I'm going to crank it up and run around the yard just a little bit. And again, I hope this helps some of you out. You can fix this yourself. If you can change a flat on a car, truck, SUV, if you can get a jack out and jack your vehicle up and remove the lug nuts and change your tire, you can adjust your valves on your mowers. It's just that simple. Save yourself a lot of time, money, and frustration. But as always, hope y'all have a great day and a blessed week. God bless. See y'all next time.